It's a word on Leicester, because this was a season when obviously they spent a lot of money. They had a deep squad. This was a season when a lot of us said, man, maybe they could upset the apple cart and finish top four and kick on, because most of us felt there's three outstanding teams, and then United, Solskjaer, and Conte, Nuno, and whatever. It didn't happen. I think largely through injuries, right? And so we give Rodgers a pass. There's only so much you can do, right?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think logically speaking, you say you do want to give the pass, but then also, it doesn't feel right to just write off a whole season. Maybe a period of time, maybe a couple of weeks or something, but at some point, if you've got a deep squad, surely the fact that you now have to use it, you should be able to find a way to be more successful with it. I think for him, I think he believes in himself, and as a consequence, the squad that he has, even though it's not his best squad in his opinion, starting 11, it's not his best starting 11, I would still say that if you asked him how he's done this year, I think he'd say they've underperformed. And I think that's the key element there, because in some ways, you look at them, they're in mid-table, maybe a bit lower, and they always feel like they could do something, and they have done something. Like, I think they beat United and stuff like that, but they haven't done it consistently enough, and it's at a time now where you've got a top three who are doing what they're doing. Then you've got a battle for fourth between West Ham, Arsenal, Spurs, and Manchester United currently. So you needed to be almost at your best to be part of that race in itself, and so for you to be off the pace just that little bit, like it feels like it's going to be a long way for them to catch up. But I don't know, it's tough to give someone a complete pass, because injuries are injuries. It's not like he's playing 10 academy players every week.
No, when they're all in the same position. And I think the other thing, which in Brendan's defense, I think derailed him a little bit, is this. All right, Tielemans was terrible, I thought, against City. I mean, terrible compared to the Tielemans level. For me, Youri Tielemans, if he's not the best midfielder, best all-around midfielder in the Premier League, he's, for me at least, in the top 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's really good,
any way you slice it. He has this contractual issue, which isn't going away. And for Leicester, it's really, really difficult, because
Is this his final year?
I think he's got 18 months left.
Okay.
But you know that if he doesn't put pen to paper, you got to sell. And people are going to line up for Youri Tielemans, because I think he's so far ahead of so many others of his same age profile. He's got the experience, he's got the quality, Premier League proven. I'm not saying that this is why he had a poor game and why maybe he's had ups and downs this season, because he was outstanding early in the year. But when you're Tielemans and you look around and you're saying, man, like I got this contract saying, everybody around me is getting injured. Look at the back. I see, poor Daniel Amartey back there.
Yeah.
I got Albrighton playing right back.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I think it's fair, because, like, there's the other side of this coin, for example, would be, say, someone like Declan Rice, who apparently is coveted by tons of teams and players, and tons of players or whatever, clubs rather. But he's at West Ham, and West Ham are doing well, and he's the captain for them. So staying is going to be a far easier decision than, say, being somewhere where essentially you're going to feel like you're sort of trending downwards, even though there are injuries and so on, because you almost get a feel of like, well, this is what they're getting over here, but this is here. Like, is this really my situation? If I could get more, if I could do more somewhere else. So it is an interesting time, and he's very good, as you say. I'm glad you've given him some recognition like that, because he is very, very good.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot then. Who's better, Tielemans? Who'd you rather have, Tielemans or Declan Rice? At your team, at City. City need to decide. No, I'm just kidding.
For style, for obvious style of play, like, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but for style of play, I think Tielemans fits into City more than Rice does.
Are you seeing him in the Rodri role, or are you seeing him in the Gundogan role?
I'd say more like a Gundogan, to be honest. Yeah.
He's got that. He's got that.
But then it's like, it's because like Rice can do the six, but then he moves around as well. But City, in terms of central midfielders, they're more pass and play as opposed to driving the ball, and Declan Rice is very good at that. So that strength would be kind of taken away from him, which isn't really of a benefit, is it?
See, like, two phenomenal players. We don't just talk about Big Six teams.
There
you go.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.